You're young. Have some fun, have some adventure, have some excitement. But at the same time, also have that sense of discipline, that sense of purpose. You have so many more options. It's just that you're not going to reach them. You're not going to be happy in the short time that you have to be alive unless you take it seriously, unless you learn skills and develop and go through an apprenticeship in your 20s, etc. Success in life is kind of being who you are. Everything depends on your circumstances. If you're working for yourself, if you're working at home, that's often the hardest because you have to be very self-disciplined and self-motivated. And so creating an actual literal routine that you write down, that you schedule, is very important, right? So advocate the meditation as a way to kind of start the day, to empty things out, to empty all the baggage out from the day before and kind of freshen your mind up. Right? And then it depends on, I talk to people about your energy levels. So I am not a morning person, right? My wife is. She wakes up, she's bubbling with theories, ideas, and I am so grumpy and I blah, blah, blah. I ask people about, when do you feel the most energy, right? And so some people it's the morning, the 9 to 12. Some people it's like me, 4 to 8. So let's work on that first. If you're like me, then in the morning, kind of do things that are routine, like answering emails, like paying bills, like taking care of business stuff. And then after that, you have time now in the afternoon to do creative stuff. I'm also personally a big believer in taking naps. I take a nap every day. I didn't get to take one here, so that's why I was yawning before I had my tea. But some people aren't nappers, I understand it, but it's a great way of re-energizing yourself in the middle of the day. It just depends on your energy and your work. And then also journaling is very important I'm a writer, so I don't want to go anywhere near a journal because please get that pen away from me. If you're not a writer, spending a half hour every day journaling about your day before you go to bed, etc. A ritual before you go to bed is also good. It just depends on who you are, your energy, your individuality, and the kind of work that you do. And then we craft a good ritual routine for them. Don't be too hard on yourself and be patient. So it's a kind of a mix that you have to go through, a bit of a dance. So on the one hand, you want to be serious about life. Life doesn't go on forever. Your youth will be over in 10, 12 years. You better believe it goes faster than you can imagine, right? Okay, so take it seriously. All right. So you want to realize what your life's task is. You want to develop those skills that will make it so when you're in your 30s, things will come together as they fortunately did for me. It's a common story that 31, 32 is that year where things turn around for people, right? But on the other hand, you don't want to be so damn serious, so damned linear in your thinking. I've got to head down this path to make this amount of money, etc. You're young. Have some fun, have some adventure, have some excitement. But at the same time, also have that sense of discipline, that sense of purpose. You can do both things at the same time. Now, the circumstances now, it's easy for me, a boomer, I have to admit that, to preach to you when you have gone through you've gone through a pandemic, what looks like to be a recession, and then if you're a millennial, you went through the crash in 2008. It's easy for me to preach. You're dealing with really difficult circumstances. And there's what they call the Great Resignation now, is that it, right? So a lot of people are rethinking their lives. They don't want to work at crap jobs just to get by. And I applaud that 100%, right? That's great. So you want to think about working for yourself is the ultimate position in this world. And even though times are difficult, even though it may seem like just a dream, there's so much potential out there for entrepreneurial spirit, for creating your own startup, for creating your own podcast, for going your own path in life. You don't have to follow other people. It's not like it was when I was growing up. There were things that were better back then, but there are things that were a lot worse, right? You have so many more options. It's just that you're not going to reach them. You're not going to be happy in this short time that you have to be alive unless you take it seriously, unless you learn skills and develop and go through an apprenticeship in your 20s, etc. So if you can balance those two and still have some fun and adventure and excitement like I did, I mean, I don't want to hold myself up as some model, but, you know, being an Irishman in Paris in my early 20s, you know, I was having adventures, right? So just don't listen to your parents go, I got to be making $100,000 when I'm 23 and go to law school and do all this stuff. You're going to burn out. So kind of understand I guess the main thing I would say is know who you are, know what you're, you know, deep down your core, what you love, what you hate, and what you were destined to create in this world. That's like the most important process you can go through. I don't want to get too wrapped up in myself here about, you know, because I'm sitting here talking on and on about my own life. But I guess what it was is that I didn't listen to other people. At so many turning points in my life, I could have been discouraged. People could have said, I had somebody say, Robert, you're never going to be a good writer in life. You know, you need to go to business school, etc. My parents tried to funnel me this way or that way. I was stubborn and I was rebellious and I did my own thing. And because of that, I have kind of a different voice from other people, right? And when I look at books out there, I'm searching for that voice of somebody who's different, who has something different to say, who speaks in a different tone of voice, that has their blood and their personality in their writing. And I don't find it often, but when I do, it's a great thing. And so, to me, success in life is kind of being who you are. There's a famous expression of the great ancient Greek poet Pindar about become who you are. It's a process of becoming who you actually are and realizing what it is. So we talked about my weirdness earlier on, and following that has allowed me to craft my own message, which is basically about opening your eyes up to the reality of the world and to what people are like. But I'm not able to do that unless I had ignored what other people tried to foist on me earlier on in life. I'm not good at anything else. I can't fix things with my hands. I'm a terrible dancer. I'm totally tone deaf. I can't sing. You know, I'm fortunate I found the one thing that I'm good at, right? I hope my legacy is that I try to write things that are timeless, right? So I don't follow trends. I don't write about things that are going on right now today in the newspaper or internet. I write about themes that are, to me, classic, that go back thousands of years, that are about what humans are really like, our animal nature, etc. So what I'm hoping is that 20, 30 years from now, the book feels timeless, and that is essentially my legacy, that Robert hit upon some truth, hit upon the reality of what it means to be a human being, and it's still relevant. As opposed to 30 years from now, people go, man, that book smells like 1998. That's not relevant at all. That thing is so passé. That would be a big disappointment to me. I won't be around to be disappointed. I'll be dead and buried. But my legacy, my hope, is that I hit kind of a core truth, a reality about humans, and that it stands up the time, you know, like Machiavelli. 500 years later, almost exactly 500 years afterwards, his stuff, some of it's dated, but most of it's like, wow, that's spot on, right? That's insane, you know, because he was such a realist. So if I could even begin to approach part of that, I would feel like that would be hopefully my legacy, that I hit upon the reality of our life in a timeless way. Well, I'm doing a very strange book that'll probably surprise, maybe disappoint my readers, but it's all right. It's a book on what I call the Sublime. And I hinted at it I have a chapter in the book that I did with 50 Cent about death and mortality. And that is a chapter called the Sublime. And then in the Laws of Human Nature, chapter 18 about confronting your mortality is also about the Sublime. But essentially, it's a different tack for me. Maybe, I hate to use the word, but maybe a quasi more spiritual book, if you will. And essentially, I'm saying that it's so strange to be alive. It's such a weird thing that 30,000 years ago, our ancestors were still in basically a stone age our Paleolithic ancestors, our hunter-gatherers. And here we are, look at this world, right? We're like reaching now with the new telescope, the Webb telescope that was launched. Look at what we're doing, who we are. Just to be alive, just to see the world as it is, just to have these powers of consciousness is the strangest trip you could ever be on. Your life is like this weird voyage of 80 some years, if you're lucky to live that long. It's like you're continually on drugs. It should be like that. You should be continually waking up going, man, I'm conscious, I'm thinking, I'm able to look at the moon and be aware of it. I'm able to read history. How weird. But we don't have those thoughts. We grow around, we take everything for granted. We're immersed in our phones and our little trivial worlds and all the little bullshit scandals and things that are happening today that'll be forgotten about 3 days from now, etc. We're immersed in banality and triviality when the cosmos is so essentially awesome. And there's so many aspects of that awesomeness. How idiotic to waste your life mulling over things that are so unimportant when you're literally surrounded by all these insane things. So each chapter is about the cosmos, it's about evolution, it's about your childhood, because childhood was the most sublime period in your life. It's about our ancient ancestors and pagan religions and how people thought much differently back then. I'm doing a chapter now on the brain and how the brain is the human brain is just the most remarkable thing perhaps in the cosmos as far as we know. Its complexity, its power, its speed, what it can create, what it can do. But we don't think about it that way. We take this for granted. We think computers are so much more interesting. So I'm writing a chapter on the brain. I have a chapter on animals and animal consciousness. About the last chapter will be, guess what the last chapter is about. People who've had near-death experiences. I had one, not as strong as other people. There's nothing more sublime than that, than what you see when you touch just very briefly on what the sensation is of your life fleeing out of you. Is a very, very sublime experience. So that's what I'm working on. It's taking me a long time and I'm trying to hurry up so I can get the book out because people seem to be interested in it. But that's what I'm working on right now. Hopefully I'm alive to finish it. I think I will be though. One of them is a law of power that I've kind of lived by consciously and inadvertently, which is interaction with boldness. So most people are just too timid in life. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of making mistakes. If I never try anything, then I never have to put up with criticism. I never have to put up with people scrutinizing me, right? So most people end up being too shy, too timid in life. And you've got to get over that. And you've got to learn how to be bold with your ideas and with your actions. So I try to make each one of my books kind of a statement and impress people with a strong, idea and not be afraid of criticism and not being afraid of controversy. So boldness has gotten me through life, and I think it's critically important in this day and age. The second thing is something we've talked about earlier, but it's knowing who you are, knowing yourself in depth, shining that mirror, looking deep inside of you, who you are and what makes you different, and going through that process in as profound a way as possible to know, to understand deeply what makes you an individual, what separates you from your parents, your siblings, and your peers. And so that it's like having a radar system in you. So I know this about me, and now this person is offering me this job. No, that's not who I am. That's not suited for me. Get out of here. Somebody offers me something else. Yes, that's me. Okay, I'll take it. It's like an internal radar system that'll guide you through life. The third thing is it's knowing about yourself, but it's also knowing about people. And it seems like an easy thing, but the problem most people have is we are self-absorbed. We're more interested in our own thoughts and ruminations and our own ideas than thoughts and ideas and experiences of other people. We will deny it, we'll die kicking and screaming, saying, no, that's not true, but it is true. It's because you're not listening to other people. You're not really fascinated by other people. And I'm saying empathy and the ability to truly listen to people and to get inside their skin and understand how they think, how they experience the world, how it's different to be them and what they're like is a not only a great form of therapy, because it gets you outside yourself, gets outside of your own self-absorption, but it's a very powerful tool. It will allow you to understand people on a deep level, understand their psychology, so you won't be making all kinds of mistakes and saying exactly the wrong thing to say to this person or that person. So developing a high-level sensitivity to people, and it begins with being fascinated by people and their differences in their world. And that's, to me, an extremely important skill. I'm not somebody who listens to advice, which is a problem, but I managed to do okay without that. But my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, she said it was in the 90s, the 1990s, not the 1890s, and I was in my depressed period of life, right? And I was working in Hollywood and I was miserable. And I was trying to write screenplays, and I was also trying to write theater and fiction, etc. She said, Robert, you can't have it both ways. You can't be trying to make a lot of money and be doing the things that you love. You have to do one or the other in life, right? And then things will happen for you. But you're trying to cut it both ways. You're trying to become really successful in Hollywood, but also be doing things that are really important to you. And if you're going to be successful in Hollywood, you have to learn to do things that aren't that exciting to you personally. So choose one or the other.